have on the back.
What's going on, beautiful people? I am the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray, bringing you guys the next episode of the Grandmaster's Table with my beautiful co-host Summer. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Guys, today we have yet another Draft League Titan, someone that is very present in the Draft League community that knows almost everybody, I'm sure, so I'm sure that everybody's extremely excited for this episode. Go ahead and welcome Ultraplayer.
I'm trying to be as cringy as possible with my intro.
This is going to be a small preview, guys. If you guys, what I would like to do now, because Josh gave us this 411 before we started the recording, that if I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning. If you haven't seen his videos on YouTube prior to today, he's been given the permission to say whatever it is that he wants to say. So take that with a grain of salt. It's going to be a good one. If you're new here, do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, hit the bell button so you guys get notified every single time we post a new video. And if you're excited for today's episode, again, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. It really does show your support. So, Josh, real name, right? How you doing today? Everything good?
Everything's great. It's late as hell, and oh god, what was that? All my family members are asleep, so this is gonna go well.
Yes, I was gonna say thanks, man, for taking the time to hang out with us so late at night. You are in the Narnia side of the time zone, so you're on East Coast time.
Okay. Over here, what time is it? Oh, it's like 11:30. God.
For us, it's 8:30.
It's 8:30.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm telling you,
This
PST
is
game.
my first time waking up. I'm sure they'll just my throat later while I sleep. I don't need
So Josh, we're really excited to have you here on the podcast. You've been an advocate for getting the questions stirred up with the rest of the cast that have been on the Grandmaster's table. So I'm excited for you that you're here today. I would like to get a little bit more in depth on who you are as a person, man. What do you do for a living outside of content creation for YouTube?
So as many people know, because of my very particular choice in emojis, I work at a tool store. A year ago, I got fired from my job at what's called Sheets because I failed an alcohol sting. So I've been working at a tool store ever since, and I hate it. But regardless, oh god. Okay. Well, you know what? Oh my god, I said work and they texted me. I'm not even kidding.
You manifested it.
You're manifesting your leadership to be like, yo, dude.
My day off. How is it?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's how my life goes. So I sell hammers for a living is the joke. I don't sell tools. I don't sell generators. No, I sell hammers. Hammers. That's all.
Wow.
So you're an expert of banging things.
Banging.
Okay. Okay, D-Ray. I was called I swear to God, this is my legit title. I was called a logistics supervisor. Go figure. But hopefully, by the time this comes out, I will be promoted to sales manager because our sales manager quit.
Oh, wow.
So.
Nice.
Oh, look at that, man. We'll manifest the good juju for you to get that promotion. Yes. So if anyone that is friends with Josh that is a coworker of his, make sure you're putting in a good word for him. He's a great guy. So you do the tool thing. Is that how much does that take of your time? And how much time do you really have to dedicate to content creation? Is it like a part-time thing at work and a full-time thing with content, or is it the other way around?
The other way around. So I work full-time job, supervisor, get 40 hours. As a potential sales manager, I'd get 45. Come home, do all of my various things, all the league formats that I have, or all the leagues I'm in. Not all of them are upload. For every league that anyone watches on my channel, there's probably 3 or 4 that they don't see.
Wow.
Because right now, I'm uploading NCP, both Wi-Fi and Showdown, and outside of that, I was in Classic of APA, I was in Evo in APA, OLT Harmony, Clash of Kings. This goes on and on, literally on forever.
Yeah, man.
That sounds more like full time than part time. That's crazy.
And then, of course, as of late January, early February kind of time, I've been a graphic designer. It's been an interesting ride, designing some very, very interesting logos.
To say the least.
Yeah.
You did it. Your recent product that you've been put out there that most people I'm sure would have seen is that you did the graphic package for the most recent APA season. Is that right?
Yeah. So normally graphics for APA are done by one of the founders of the APA. His name is E4Dan. Well, he ran out of time, so he pushed it on a graphics crew, which consisted of me, to a lesser extent, Liv or Olivia. Of course, our main man, John Jr., and at the time, I think, what was his name? Blinn was in this specific? Yeah, Blinn was here too. One thing led to another. It basically all got put on me. It was very, very constraining time left. So that was a lot of interesting. But he made the draft slides. He made the layout that both I used and numerous other coaches used. Whereas I took one of his little pieces, the little British flag, Union Jack, and incorporated it into the rest of the graphics, including nails, and then anything that was supposed to be used by the analysts, which ended up being torched. Never seen.
But nonetheless, the graphics looked great. All the stuff that you had looked really, really pretty. How long have you been doing the graphic designing?
So graphic design really kind of started with me wanting to make my own layouts, and then going horribly. And for absolutely god awful. I cannot look back at my old layouts. They're so bad.
It's a learning process.
Yeah. It took off pretty well. I started getting some of my better layouts. What did I use it for first? I think it was ICBA layout I used, and then the IBL layout I used. Both ended up being very, very nice. Really liked those, and I just had a lot of fun with them. And BBL layout, I made my BBL layout. It just rolled and rolled and rolled. And one day, me and Liv were going back and forth on some potential ideas for a league. She had joined, I think it was LBC, Last Battle Circuit from Kyle. I pitched her an idea, which I sketched on some paper I had laying around, and I really had a lot of fun doing it. So it kind of took off from there, mainly just thumbnails, because that's all I really knew how to do. I didn't know how to do literally anything other than add shapes, and generally that's it. Then
Add shapes.
got into a call with John Jr. He taught me how to vector, so that got me onto the logo thing, as well as being able to vector notes. And I've done all kinds of things. I've done It Sucks Twitch panels, done emotes, I've done logos, I've done layouts, I've done thumbnails, all sorts and all kinds.
Yeah, so you're all over the Draft League community. So you've been doing it for quite some time. You probably, typically, if you are a fan of Draft League in general and you watch the vast majority of the quote-unquote bigger leagues, you probably have seen a logo or something designed by ultraplayer. So his stuff is phenomenal. I'll leave a link down in the description below for his stuff if you guys are interested in commissioning him for anything, whether that be maybe a revamping of your own logo that you have currently, or if you want to get new layouts like he said, or anything else for your Twitch streams, etc. We talked about how you did a couple different leagues, and there's a bunch of leagues that we don't see. That's basically behind the curtain. When did you get your start in Draft League?
So it was years and years ago. The true origin is actually simply hilarious. So it was one of the people that brought so many people into liking the Draft League community. Everyone knows him, Mr. Shady Penguin, joined CL. He was, I don't know why I followed through with this, but he said, if you have any ideas for future weeks, let me know. The schedule for UCL was posted on the main Twitter. So every week he would post his battle, and then I would post a full-on team that I think he should bring in the next week. Every single week. still in. If you go to his UCL videos, if they're still up, I don't know the whole Mac situation. Deleted them. Still there. My comments are still there with the whole shebang.
Yeah, so I was back in the day. So you're over here with Shady Penguin, getting started as one of the first in the game. So essentially, you've been around for quite some time. How many leagues have you been in? Do you know that are quote unquote big that people have seen on Wi-Fi?
League history. Hold on. So about 2 or 3 years ago, I made a doc. So I can count and tell you how many leagues I've up. 1, 2, 3. Jesus. That many.
Dang.
6.
It sounds like we're starting to get off of two hands.
If you do you count tours like Brawl for All and Clash of Kings?
I would say yeah. Why not?
Okay, then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 77.
Woo!
Whoa.
I love how it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
77.
You jump from 8 to 77.
So my doc is separated into multiple tabs, right? All the leagues that I played in each of my many franchises. So yeah, New York Metagross has the most, and then as I added franchises, of course, I started tracking those leagues in as well. But this goes all the way back to, I think it's 2015, maybe 2016. That's gonna take some digging to figure out.
There's a vet. We got a seasoned veteran here with us here today, guys. That's the next thing I was about to ask you. You do have 4 franchises that we do know very well. What was the what's the history behind that? When did you? Is the idea basically to revamp yourself whenever you go to different leagues, or did you kind of just shift off depending on whatever you liked at the time?
Okay. By the way, real quick, the answer is almost 5 years. November 7th, 2015 was my first Drac League. I wanted to create a team name. Everyone wants to get in draft. I want to create a team name. One team name that really jumped out at me that I was like, man, has to be someone's team. Like, there's no way, a community that's thriving like this, no one's going to have this name. I feel like it's just so obvious and everything. I want all my teams to be puns. That's what all 4 of them are puns on real sports teams. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, how has no one used New York Metagross yet? Now I looked and one was there. Like, all right, claim it. That's mine. I didn't have a logo for the longest time. But anyway, Metagross took off. It was the only one I ran for a very, very long time. Let's see here. That dog is dead. That dog is dead. Let me see if I can find out when I got. Okay.
I think the next most recognizable that you would think whenever we hear your name is most of the Philly Soul do, right? Is that one that you've seen, that you've done in bigger leagues that people probably have seen?
Like I said, New York Metagross, I in that for a while, into some leagues, and then I think it was Deathly I Am. Was going to get into the Draft League community. He posted on his Twitter. I got a lot of retweets. He was saying, give me team name. He was from Pennsylvania. So I shot off all kinds of puns. And he, like all different cities, Pennsylvania in general, so on and so forth. And he said, man, doesn't like Seattle Grizzlies. Like, yeah, Seattle's not in Pennsylvania, so like one of them really was like stuck on me. In the back, and that was the Philadelphia Soul Dude, which was based off the Philadelphia Soul. I really like that. I really like the idea. I reached out to Bill Sanders, said, "Hey, can I get this logo made?" And it kind of took off. Finally, started using it in called 8-tier league. Which is exactly what it was a league, 8 tiers instead of the standard 5 at the time. Really good start with that. Franchise went 7-0 and lost round 1, but still went 7-0.
Wow.
Then time went on, and the New York Metagross got remade. I believe I got remade by Crystal Key. Then I started getting that itch again to get another franchise. I was like, man, I got the New York Metagross, I got Philadelphia Soldew. I don't have anything to represent West Virginia, even though I hate the state. I wanted something to represent home. I was looking through like West Virginia team names, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing. We have like the Mountaineers, which someone has already used, Mountaineer during Herdier or something. Thing. I was gonna go with one from the college I was going to at the time, which was Concord, but that I didn't like that either. Finally, like a very, very local team, really tiny little baseball called the West Virginia Miners, and I was like bouncing ideas off once again to Liv. I was like, I could go with West Virginia Minin, really good, and she got all excited because one of her favorite Pokemon is Minior. So that whole thing got started. So Minior is really cool. Really like the logo idea I have with it. I have 8 different Minior logos, one for each color. I decide I'm using the Miniors, I just ping whoever's in charge and say pick a color.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it allows for some diversity. It allows it to be able to change it up. Instead of seeing the same exact logo every single time, you could use the same league, and it just has a little bit of a different element to it.
Yeah, I really like it. Each of the colors like stand out really nice. Of course, Bill's really, really good at what he does. And then the last one. So, friend of mine, Mr. There's not really present in the Draft League community anymore, but his name is Hispanic at the Disco, or Henry. He reached out to both me and Liv and was like, "Hey, I got a really cool team idea. We could go for." He brought the idea to us, was the New Orleans Saints. No, basically we all decided that we would chip in to get a really high quality logo. At the time, I'd already decided that if I ever do any extra franchises, all logos will be made by someone different. That's what I have. I have 4 logos, all made by different people. That way, someone ever says, "Can you recommend a Someone says, "Can you recommend a logo artist?" I have 4 different logos from 4 different people to show as examples.
Hey.
That's awesome.
That's making first, John Jr. making second, Bill making third, and then Velocity Boy or Grant making the 4th. All 3 of us pitched in together. We got the logo made, very, very expensive logo, and then we got a custom intro made for it. Whole deal.
Wow.
Yeah, the New Orleans Saints Snow is about to hit the ground running. I like that a lot. The design is really, really nice. I'm being a little bit biased because my channel colors are purple and pink, so I love the design. The fact that it's got that like glisten to it, because you can tell like a certain quality whenever you have a logo, and you could tell that it was put. There's a lot of time that was put into it, and when you look at the New Orleans Saints Snow, it shows. And I love the introduction you have whenever you guys play those games. It's really, really nice. I'm gonna show you at the end when we're done with the podcast. It's really, really dope. Do you plan on using the New Orleans Saints Snow moving forward?
Yeah. So we do share it. Of course, the issue is when we're in a league together.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of got to pick and choose. But I've used it since I got it. I've used it twice. BBL Season 4, which both me and Liv used it. She was in minors, I was in majors. We both made playoffs with it, so I did really well. Then I used it in OLT, which is a draft league with 4 leagues inside of it. So go up and down based on how good you are. I applied last season, got into the second highest, which is Harmony. Semis with a 4-4 record, which is hilarious. And then this past season, season 7, I finished New Orleans Saints Snow, got a really cool team, went 0-2, then said, "Man, that makes me mad. I'm better than that," and then won completely out, including the champion.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Speaking of you in championships, let's talk about how many you have. So you've been in the game for quite some time. How many championships would you say mean the most to you?
This recent one, I'll tell you, means a lot to me. One, it's definitely has the most skill of any of the championships I've had. The first time I've won a freaking league, a team other than the New York Metagross.
No, that's true.
And I mean, I just feel really, really proud. Like, I feel like my prep was really solid. All the games outside of the 0-2. My prep just continued to get better. My semifinals and finals prep were some of the best teams I've ever made. And it just means like a whole lot to me. Outside of that, let's say, oh Lord, a UAPB season 1, very interesting league. So I joined after the draft and had to use this really whack team.
Typically the situation when you take over a team for sure.
Made some free agents. It was a very interesting team. Like I'm looking at it, I'm just like, wow, I actually used that. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 11 mons, 4 times weaknesses. I had 3 ground types. It was something, but it had Z Magirna, so it was automatically the best in the world. Finals. I live record all the games because it was down. I actually played the finals game and was recording it on my birthday.
Wow.
My brother happened to come in, like, open the door and throw a bunch of birthday balloons in there as I was in the middle of the recording.
That's the best.
Stare at them. By the way, guys, it's my birthday and I'm about to win.
That's awesome.
That's cute.
That's cool.
That's ironic, man. So that's awesome. So your history is crazy with Draft League. Now, dipping more into your personal life, let's talk a little bit more about you, man. So you said that mom came in. What's your so where do you reside right now? Is it in West Virginia, like you said, for the Miniors?
Yes, I live in the crack of West Virginia, kind of in the southern, little tiny itty bitty dot of a town that is so small it of its own stoplight. It is called Mascot.
Oh wow!
I'm basically I can walk out my back door and see the city limits to the next city, which is Beckley, which is one of the biggest cities in West Virginia. And I absolutely adore. I hate the state, but I adore my specific location because I'm 5 minutes to just about anything you could ever need for in life.
Cool.
Restaurants, Walmarts, stores, attractions, schools, hospitals, a bank, anything I need, I'm within 5 minutes of. And I live in an extremely low crime rate neighborhood. Like, nothing happens. I could leave my door unlocked and open. All my stuff will be there weeks.
That's nice, man. That's
That's
living the
awesome.
good
Yeah,
life. That's cool.
awesome.
Summer's like, got her mouth open. She goes, let's go move to West Virginia. We've
It
been
takes
trying to
us 20
find.
minutes to get anywhere from
Yeah,
here.
we live in like a different remote area in San Diego, so whenever we want to get into quote unquote into
city,
town,
into
it has
town.
to be like a whole trip. We have to
Yeah.
plan to get the kids together and then grab the stuff, and then we can't leave after that. So that's dope. We've
Yeah.
never really experienced that, so it's cool that you get that. Family though, you got a big family with you?
So in the house is my mother, my younger sister, who is currently above my head. Literally sleeps in the room above me, and the walls are really thin, so she has probably heard, I swear to God, every single word of this.
She's probably so mad right
Oh no, don't worry. He sleeps late, so she's probably still.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then I have a well-known fact, apparently, about me. I thought this was a very well-known fact. I thought I had mentioned this many, many times in my life. The Draft League community, but apparently I don't. I have 3 sisters. I have one younger one, which a lot of people know, and I have 2 older ones. One lives across the street, and one lives on a bus. So
you got them close by. Let's go down the street, man. I can only imagine my sister just moving out and be like, I'm moving out across the street. So I would take it that you guys are pretty close.
I mean, we're not like overly close. I mean, obviously the one above my head, we're close to.
Yeah.
We're on good terms and everything. Older sister that I mentioned that lives on the bus, she's actually in Texas. Not close at all, but no, not bad. My mother lives here with her boyfriend. Other than that, most of my family is kind of extended. Uncles, cousins, live nearby. Not really knit, but what it is.
The West Virginia life, man. That sounds dope. Now we're gonna ask you, shifting gears to one of the most popular questions that we ask every guest that comes on the Grandmaster's table, because I'm sure there's a fun story that's attached to it. If you were to get one Pokemon to be your absolute favorite of all time, it doesn't have to be competitively. doesn't have to be in Draft League, doesn't merely just have to be from aesthetics. But if you were to say you have one mon that is your number one absolute favorite, what is that Pokemon?
I doubt it's Mega Mawile or regular Mawile. Never really had a favorite. I was never really one, like, when I was playing through, I was like picking favorites. I was just like, hey, this looks cool, or I like using this. But one time, I finally decided to have a Nuzlocke challenge in Pokemon X and Y, because the games, this whole series, and lost early. I got chewed out, like, we're in Gym 6 and 7, I think. But I had a Mawile that I caught very, very early on, and it just rolled through everyone. It was incredible in every single match. I know in the last one I had before I lost.
So it's more of a connection to you to Draft League and that memory, right? Because Mawile is one of those Pokemon that you look at it and aesthetically, some people like, obviously you like it, and some like it, some love it, and then some don't think it's that appealing. Is it more just because it's an attachment you have to Draft League, or is it the aesthetics of it being unique, almost like a Venus flytrap?
It's more of like the aesthetics or the attachment I have it to from my Nuzlocke. Not as much from Draft League. I do love it in Draft League. It took me a very long time to finally use it, but the time that I first used it, I was trying to be a tryhard, and it fired horribly. The next time I used it, went very, very well. Mega Mawiles.
I like it.
It's a cool Pokemon.
Cool.
Summer's looking at every time we ask somebody, and then so she's new to the draft, to Pokemon in general. So whenever someone says the name, I'll pull it up here on the computer so she can see it, and she's digging it. It's a really cool Pokemon.
It's cool. I like it. It's nice.
Mega Mawile is also like a lot of fun, and I just love the design of it too. I think they did a really, really good job improving Mawile evolution.
When so. Giving on that same typical subject is sometimes the story kind of is attached to the past. And speaking of the past, when did you dip into the franchise in general? When did you first become a fan? When did Pokemon present to you and you were like, oh man, that's really, really cool?
I've been playing ever since the very, very beginning. Some of my earliest memories are even playing the game, specifically Puzzle Challenge.
Oh yeah.
This is the game I played. I remember after that I played, I think, first gen. I don't remember which one. Probably Yellow. Not a lot of fun when you don't know anything. And like, why do my electric types not work on Onyx? How?
Yeah.
But regardless, eventually played like Blue or Red or something. Picked Venusaur. As a kid, I was good, and I did not train up a single one of my other Pokemon. So shout out the experience share, and my drastically overleveled Venusaur and that one Dragonair that hung around long enough for me to use Revives. That's how I won my first Pokemon game.
Wow.
Yeah, that's usually what most people do. They have that one Pokemon and they just don't want to catch anything else, and they run through the whole game with it. That's a common denominator for most people. That's dope, man. So we're gonna shift gears over here to Twitter because you had a resounding response whenever we came on Twitter. So for those who don't know, whenever we have a guest here in the Grandmasters table, we like to go out to Twitter and then we announce who it is that's going to be coming on this week, and then we ask you guys to see if you have any questions for this person, because this podcast is designed for you to be able to get that opportunity to get to know your favorite content creators a little bit better. So you guys have this avenue to ask them whatever you like, and we threw out Josh's name out there, and all of a sudden the whole flood, the gates of the flood just completely opened up. So we're gonna start here from the top, and then I'll let you have at it, because I'm sure some of these are probably hitting a little bit harder than others. So the very first question that we have is this is probably an insider thing, but I'll read this word for word. At It's Sock, he asks you, why is Josh's best league team name about waifus? Do you understand what he's saying?
Waifus, which is an anime term.
Okay.
Female characters who you have a strong liking for, to various reasons. But that Sock just been around. Snow is a little group from Love Live. Very, very well received when the show came out. Everyone really loves them. Their style of music being edgier rock. But yeah, that's just him going around. I do love the New Orleans Saints. It's one of my favorite looking logos. Just I wasn't always a fan of Grant's particular style when it comes to certain things, but I think it does really, really well with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, it looks great. It's such a beautiful logo.
Yeah, it really is.
And the next question that we have here is by our good buddy, the one that's always sticking around, at Mid Pokemaster. He asks you, "Do you like it when I sing?" That should tell you. That should tell you a lot.
Don't even read the question. Don't even read the question. Unless you want the video to be demonetized.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Funny story. I can't remember what triggered it, but I saw a memory on Facebook from like weeks ago, like a year ago. I don't remember what post I made, but suddenly 8 people made a chain of the song "Country Roads Take Me Home." That was fun. All in favor of just word at a time. Also, one day I woke up to like 18 pings. It was 18 different people sending me the same video link to someone who got drunk and sang the song.
Oh gosh.
The irony.
For Daniel, you don't want this stupid ass song at you every 3 weeks.
I know. I feel like we should steer away from this, or else it's going to be like on every corner. It's going to randomly pop up on the radio. It's going to hop on the computer. That's it's a curse.
I will say a funny thing is there's a band called Goose House who are very popular for a very specific opening. But regardless, ad featured songs pop up in YouTube, and I saw one. It was them. I recognized them. I'm like, okay, I really like them, so I'll. It is the whole title was in Japanese and it had the word cover in it. Like, this might be a cover of Lisa or whatever, and they had this opening instrumental which was completely unrecognized to me. Okay, this is cool. I wonder what this is. They stopped, switched instrumentals, that damn song, and at like 1 a.m. I'm screaming bloody murder because I was so mad.
That's funny.
God.
It just follows you everywhere, jeez.
It's gonna continue following you after this podcast. Watch, you're gonna go to bed and it's gonna pop out on the radio in the morning when it wakes you up.
People oh my gosh.
That's hilarious. So speaking of Olivia, the one that you shared the New Orleans Saint Snow logo with, this is gonna be a common theme for a couple questions that were asked because of Josh. For those who don't know, before I ask this question, Josh is known for very out of the box Pokemon sets whenever it comes to Draft League. And basically, the idea with Draft League is, for those who don't know, it's everybody comes together and then you draft in the same format you would see like in the NFL or MLB or the NBA. All of us end up drafting one by one in a snake style format, and we all end up with the team. Therefore, each week you have a schedule and you can see what your opponent's full team roster is. Therefore, you can build the team to counter whatever it is that they have. So you have that opportunity to come up with wacky sets or things that, well, quote unquote wacky sets that you think may work to be able to beat your opponent. And Josh is known for coming up with wacky stuff because there's the straightforward things that you can build for, and then there's the out of the box stuff that could be because he's using items that maybe no one really knows about, which is really what he's known for. So Olivia Claire at Olivia Sarna, she asks, when will Josh mail me whatever you were on when you built your APA Evo team? So basically what he's saying is that you came up with something crazy, right?
So this was an amazing team. Really famous set that's gonna go down for a while because like I spread it around and people are just blown. So Trusters joins APA Evo, makes some free agents, switches his Mega Absol for a Mega Sableye. I built the team, and I was like, man, I have an idea, which we'll get into how I come up with my stupid ideas. But I came up with this idea because I recently learned a couple weeks ago about how Parting Shot interacts with Magic Bounce.
Uh-huh.
It'll bounce back. Also know, Parting Shot is a sound-based move. So, Monster's team had double Intimidate in the form of Lando and Arcanine, had a Mega Sableye. I brought Obstagoon with, instead of the standard Guts, I brought Defiant, and I brought Sub, Parting Shot, Knockoff, and Facade. So I got it in versus like a Bronzong. Oh my god, it went exactly as you picture. He went into Mega Sableye, I clicked Sub. He Mega Evolved, I clicked Parting Shot, and it bounced back and went behind the Sub, lowered my attack, and thus raised my attack by 2, lowered my special attack, and then raised my attack by 2, and then he was forced to switch out, and like the game paused for like 5 solid minutes, and finally Sean just types, "What the hell just happened?" So for absolutely nothing, I was behind the sub at +3 attack with an Obstagoon, which had the coverage to 2 KO every single Pokemon on his team, and it basically just it motored through him. He couldn't use Lander to check it because MT and 8 were just triggered Defiant again. I did mess up my EVs, which ended up mattering because Obstagoon didn't just blatantly 6-0. But I was sub Salic, so when he went into Keldeo, I just subbed up until I got my Salic berry off and just knocked it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So you would never really think of that. So he would do his research to find out what a specific move would do and what that interaction would do with the opponent's Pokemon. And he would bring it, and you would never think that that would be something that someone would bring to a competitive matchup, but Josh does not care. He's gonna do it anyway, and as much to dismay to his opponents. So that's insane. I'm like in awe. For those who know Draft League, that's incredible. And even then, I think when we first got to know each other in the beginning, he brought this item. It wasn't mentioned in anywhere in Twitter, but I'll put this as an honorable mention. When I was invited to APA Classic, which is a showdown league that the APA does, he brought this item called Ring Target. And with Ring Target, for one of all, I'm probably going to say Ring Target, and half of you aren't going to know what this item even does, nor do you even know if it existed. I think it came like in Gen 5 or Gen 4, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been around for quite some time. And essentially what it does, it allows you to use moves that are typically immune, right, too. So what he did is he tricked this Ring Target with his Rotom onto a Ferrothorn, so that way he's able to Sludge Bomb the Ferrothorn with his Vileplume, which typically Sludge Bomb is not effective against a Ferrothorn, so he basically can 1v1 a Ferrothorn with a Vileplume. So that was basically shocking the entire league because it was week 1 of the entire league and everyone was like, what just happened? And so that's the kind of stuff you can expect whenever you play Ultra Player. So make sure you brace yourself if you see him on your schedule.
I have set the world on fire with some sets. I think one of the biggest examples was Kings week 1. I got drafted for dirt cheap, and my captains were just like, "You can play Little Cup." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go ladder in Little Cup because I don't know how to play." But same stuff. I brought a really interesting set that I think would catch my opponent off guard. It worked very, very well in rocks. Everything. So, game actually comes. And the set that ended up doing a lot of work, picked up 5 kills in the game, was a Scarf Marini. Because he had like no water. And it basically set the entirety of the APA server on fire. Amazing.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. So Howler here, he asks you for the next question. We're gonna move on to the next one. So Howler at Platinum Howler, he asks, this is a pretty good question. He asks you, which new Pokemon from the Isle of Armor are you most excited to draft now that we're moving towards the post DLC draft leagues?
Isle of Armor new Pokemon. I have no idea.
Are you one to always want to go blindsided whenever you go into a game, or do you listen to the leaks and such?
First of all, the answer to his question is no idea. If it's just new Mons, I'd probably say Galarian. But to answer your question, I followed the leaks very, very heavily in Sword and Shield because that was the first one that I had access to it. X and Y, I only had like news that showed up on commercials or something. Once getting into the competitive scene, obviously you get to follow a lot of people who share that news. But yeah, I followed every Sun and Moon leak I could, every news, every rumor, I followed it, and then like Sun and Moon was a huge letdown for me, and I like to think it was largely because I knew everything about the game before I actually played. So for Shield, I was like, no, I'm going to avoid as many leaks as I can. I'll follow official news, but that's it. And Nintendo kind of also understood that leaking or letting everything go public, that their game kind of was hurtful. So I ended up going into Sword and Shield very, very blind, and it was a lot of fun. So I don't know if I'll always go in blind, but I just haven't been really following the Isle of Armor, honestly. I'll get it when I get it, and then I'll play the leagues, and I'll losing playoffs.
Losing playoff. Shout out to the EPA. So the next question that we have here is by @JessKirby, good buddy of mine, Go Goons. He asks you, when are you shaving your facial hair?
Me the hell am I?
Yeah, that's what I was about to
So
say.
there's actually another story behind this as well. As I said, I worked at a place called Sheets, which is a station-based restaurant. And before that, I worked at McDonald's. So for 8 years, ever since I could have a job, I worked in food, so I couldn't grow really facial hair. I couldn't really grow out unless I wanted to tie it back. So ever since I got fired from Sheets, I don't think I've had a haircut. I don't think I've trimmed a little just to make it look better, but I've just been letting my rear grow out because I was like, all right, what's it like? I want to know what it's like, what it looks like, all this kind of stuff. I have the chance to go back to Sheets, I'll take it and I'll shave all this off. So the answer is, because I can reapply for Sheets in 3 years after being fired, I will shave it in years and 4 days. Not that anyone's.
In 4 days.
Imagine by then you're gonna look like a wizard. Just a wizard at the Pokemon community. And the next question that we have here on Twitter is by Panther Slick, but goes by Slick Panther. That's a 2-part question. The second part being more of a jokey kind of side, because that's the kind of guy he is. He plays with us in the EP different leagues that they run. First part of this question he asks you is kind of like what you talked about a little bit earlier, but more specific on how you come up with this stuff. But how TF, meaning how the fuck, do you come up with all these crazy sets? And who's winning the EP Classic this season, and why is it him?
In Classic playoffs.
I think he made it in Classic playoffs, I believe.
It's not gonna be. Where's my team? My team even like McFirst. I feel like they were cool. I'm gonna go with my boy GCS.
Oh boy! Shout out to Milan. Oh boy, that's gonna stir the pot.
Won a 666 in the Classic. Nice.
Nice.
So there you go. Yeah. So that's his pick. So Milan's a good buddy of ours. So Milan GCS, for those who know in the drafting community, he's actually really, really good. So there's his pick for Ultra Player. And now it was his second part. So you guys obviously probably have a history. Do you have a winning record against Slick? That's probably why he wanted to throw that little jab in there.
No, play him this season and not. I couldn't tell you how many people to keep up with. I have had 700 games logged. I don't always remember what my record is. Versus John, which it's 3-0.
I'm sure he's gonna love that when you hear this.
Yeah.
But
we were just talking about it earlier. Yeah.
John's a good buddy of ours. Shout out to John Jr. The next question that we have here is by @LuxAnts. So this is Lux. He asks you, what are your feelings towards Charjabug? And it's a multiple part question, so we'll say this all in one fall swoop. The first part of his question he asks you is, what are his feelings against for Charjabug? And then which people online would you like to meet? He wants to know, in your opinion, why he's amazing. And yeah, all 3 parts of those questions. Oh my god, Bucks.
Okay, so Charjabug, greatest Pokemon to ever BL. It killed my. That's happened. Like to meet IRL. Lux would be really hard to meet, but I would like to meet him. I'd like to meet my buddy Corey. The whole, like, once you're in the server, you don't know what the name of this group is, but I'd like to meet just about all my crusading buddies. We have a little weeb server called the Crusading server, so that's where Lux, me, Olivia, who I have met off of Justin, Corey, a friend of ours, Rika, Hero, just hangs out with Brian. I mentioned him. So yeah, I'd like to meet all them, but definitely Lux. Love Lux, but I never get the chance to meet him. Yes, he is very amazing. Helped me a lot better of a person and in the anime community, be a lot more accepting, because he was very accepting of me, even though we had very clashing tastes.
There you have it. Lux is a great guy. He's in the Goon server, so I know exactly what you mean. So shout out to you, man. Those are awesome questions. Now, speaking of Corey, Corey threw a question on here too. Corey goes by @BanditCaterpie. He asks you, who are the top people that you've ever faced in draft? That you've never faced in draft, but you do want to play in draft. So basically, opponents that you haven't gotten the opportunity to play yet, And which ones are your top?
Haven't I played in draft? Ugh, that's a better question. Not.
Yeah.
I'll put Gypsy King at the top.
Oh boy.
Gypsy King, I was actually so close to playing him in APA Season 4, but I missed playoffs. I've never played him. I feel like I've a giant killing to feel that I could, reasonably have a chance. Jake Morin, like to play Jake for all the shit he's talked about me. Like to do him. I played him many, many times in Clash, obviously, on the same team. I can't really think of many people. I'd probably leave it at that. I don't have a lot of people who I haven't played. Like
the amount of leagues
Moe.
that he's been in.
Yeah, from the amount of leagues that you've been in, it's the list is kind of hard to get to because you basically played everybody already. But between you and Gypsy King, that would be phenomenal. I'd buy tickets to that. That'd be a phenomenal game. So if we can get Gypsy King to listen to this podcast and we can call him out, just pull him out maybe on the Wi-Fi scene so people can see it on YouTube. That would be phenomenal because I know he's still in. Yeah. So that'd be pretty.
I played MB. I played Gator. I played Panther. Jolt 2-0. Yeah. Jeez. Who haven't I played?
That's the better question.
That's the better question. Who haven't you played? That's awesome. That just shows how long you've been in the format. That's phenomenal. Yeah. This is the definition of a veteran.
I like well-known player that I've never played before.
Lord. And then the next question that we have here is from @InVividColor. It's kind of going off of what we talked about before, but he did ask us in a really funny way. Probably from the history that you guys have from each other whenever you guys play with each other. He asks, can Josh explain to me how all of his sets don't make any sense but always work? How long is your draft building process for a specific game? Does it take a while or does it just come automatically to you?
It depends on how distracted I am, how good the matchup is, all kinds of things, and it can vary anywhere from 15 minutes to like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Specifically, what Vivid is talking about is I don't know how. Like he popped up in my recommended when he first started Draft League, and I was like giving him some constructive feedback, a veteran to someone who's new, and I ended up being one of his main building guys. I was in his front office. I'm still in his front office. But on multiple occasions, I've woken up randomly at 5 a.m. Looked at my phone and saw I posted a matchup and said, run this set. It made absolutely no sense. Work. And the main one that I remember, the one I always talk about is at 5 a.m, looked at the matchup, said, listen to me. We're going to run Mew, max HP, max special attack, rock polish, expert belt. 3 attacks, none of them were stab. And when I woke up about 9 hours later, I got a ping from him saying, how the hell did you do that? He 6-0'd and Mew got 4 kills.
Wow.
It absolutely no sense. And sometimes I couldn't tell you. Literally, I just looked at the team and I was like, this would be really hilarious if this worked.
And most of the time, it typically does.
Yeah.
That's funny. And so the next question that we have here. So this is a 2-part question again. This is coming from @Henry11115. The 2-part question is going to be number 1. This is a good one. Mm-hmm. The great debate. That will be the great debate till the end of time. To me, it is a great debate because depending on what his answer is, he's asking you, what's your favorite cereal? And then number 2 is, what 5 league battlers, either retired or still playing, would you want to pursue in your harem? But the cereal, I need to know this answer.
But the cereal, that was more important.
No, it's usually just like whatever I'm craving at that time.
Yeah, I feel that.
Josh, I need you to think this hard through.
I have 2 boxes of cereal in my room right now that I'm looking at. So I'm like, technically, you could say it's one of these 2. I go with the nostalgia. That it's just a good cereal. Oreos.
Oreos. They make those anymore? They do?
Yeah, they do. Obviously,
they do. Here we go. Really good shit.
Yeah, that stuff's good. That's good cereal right there. And then his next part. So those are the 5 draft league battlers that so basically the 5 draft league battlers that either retired or still playing.
Would you want to pursue?
That you'd want to pursue in your harem is what he says.
To pursue in my harem. I'm sorry, I don't pursue 3D humans, so.
So that
I just walks away.
So well, there you go.
Anyone know, he lives in the Netherlands, and it is currently in the freaking morning for him. He's not been to sleep yet.
Oh my god.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah.
Some people's sleep schedules right now are completely messed up.
Right now, yeah, that's a lot of people.
If you're back at work is the only way you really have your sleep schedule not messed up right now.
Yeah, work is really the only reason why my sleep schedule is the way it is. Otherwise, it'd be like 4 to noon every single day.
Yeah.
Yep, I felt that. That's how I was when my day job was not around, and now it's just restructured itself.
Yeah.
So the final question that we have on Twitter is by Man on the Moon, aka @MarioB33. He's gonna pay an homage and say thank you, but the first part of his question he says is, why are you like one of the nicest people in the world? And he's saying thank you for all the help with his GFX. That's a good question, man. You're really kind to almost everybody that that has come across you in most servers. Is that you in your day to day?
Generally, yes. Trust me when I say that I am not as nice as I appear. I can be extremely aggressive when I get really mad at a classic draft season 15. Oh no, I had a meltdown. Anyway, that's just generally how I am. Working with the public for a while, you develop a way with people how to always be nice and everything. Mario specifically talking about in IBL, he was trying to fix a couple things. And even though I was at work, I'd give him detailed explanations on how to fix certain things in Photoshop, like getting additional fonts, like very simple stuff, but getting additional fonts, how to some of the basic stuff that I wish I knew when I first started Photoshop. And as I rose in the traffic community, people were always there to help me. So I always want to, pass the torch and do what I can to help other people. If it's small things in Photoshop, teaching them how to do them. It's getting people in really high caliber leagues. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the good deeds of various people, including namely Under the Radar, who got me into P4G Next Generation, which really was big. Probably the most important thing in my draft league community or my draft league career. Getting in there, not only getting in there, but meeting the people. And then, of course, winning and claiming my 5th championship. Got me introduced to Panther, who invited me to... What's the name of that league? PBL. Pro Battle League. Got me there, and then eventually he invited me into APA Classic, Season 12. It just went from there. I was in Classic. I was in various of the little tours and all the other events. Some of the other leagues started coming out, like Ascension and stuff, and I offered to be staff for that and at the end of the season. He got me into AP Wi-Fi and all that. Just one nice deed from Kelly, who where I was for G.
Yeah, the connections that you make with others is basically putting your hand down to pull somebody else up. So it looks like you've been a product of that, being able to gain those connections and get into different leagues that have really put you on the map. I was a big fan of you a long time ago when I first started watching you in the APA. I think I first started watching you when it was not last season, but the season prior, which I believe is the last season of Generation 7, where the unfortunate lost to Gator as I think when I first heard of the Ultra Player. So I've been a fan of you ever since, and I'm glad that you're in those big leagues because it gives you that exposure. For those who don't know who Ultra Player is, I really do highly recommend that you go down to the description below, check out his YouTube channel. There's a lot of history with a lot of big leagues that he has gone through, with a lot of big players that he has played, and a lot of them he's beaten. So, like he said before, it's harder to find someone that he hasn't played versus someone that he wants to play. He's been around for quite some time. He's an awesome competitor. He's an awesome human being. He's a great help wherever he's at, whatever Discord server it is, whatever league he's doing, whether if it's he's running it or helping running it. You typically will see him all over the place, and he's just phenomenal with everybody else. And I do want to thank you for that from the bottom of our hearts, because you've helped me a lot in being able to get into the leagues and say good things about me and my name, so I really do appreciate that. So thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. So the floor is yours, man. Do you have anything coming pretty soon that you'd like to plug in? Any future products that we should be expecting from you pretty soon?
The systematic destruction of my own life.
Same.
My tears. I can't plan that far ahead. Like, I'm so backed up on so many things, between work being the nightmare that it is. The graphics that I have a back order graphics that I gotta get pushed out. I was introduced to the podcast. It's like, okay, more stuff to do, more stuff. Above me to drive. All the leagues I'm in. I think I'm only in right now. Well, okay. Well, I just joined another. I'm doing another team tour, but I told them I'd be inactive. I told them I'd show up for my games and I'd kick ass and I'd move on. Like, their fault for paying $15K for me. I'm just so backed up. Like, I'm just trying to fit in a weekly stream at this point. Really, I don't really have too much drive to go out there and make all kinds of, like you do. Like, I had a podcast idea and I'm going through with it, but just find the time and the drive to do it.
Hey, but being busy is great. So, having something to do with the entire time is phenomenal. And I'm glad that you're backed up with all your stuff, because, like I said, guys, if you haven't seen any of his graphics, I highly recommend for you to hit him up and make him even more busy, because his stuff is super good. Because his stuff is great.
I have a team tour that's coming up by logo for that, and then Mia is having me make her logo for that, which is on my back order. Then Liv added another logo from that team tour onto my. I'm gonna end up like 6 on that team tour.
So, guys, his stuff is phenomenal. As much as he resists, go ahead and commission him up. He does great stuff. But I want to thank you, man, for taking the time to be joining us here on the podcast. I know it's really late for you. I really do appreciate you setting some time for us, man.
Not a problem. I really appreciate you guys.
Well, there you have it, guys. So that is the Ultra Player. Please do me a massive favor, guys. Again, like I said before, I'll leave a link down in the description below for you to check out all of his stuff, his YouTube channel, his Twitch streams, which are phenomenal because he does stream some of his draft league battles live. So that's pretty cool to do. Also, as much as to his dismay, his commissions are phenomenal. If you want to add to his long list of waiting, obviously it's going to take some time, but he does phenomenal stuff. So make sure you hit him up so that way you can get some stuff redone. You wouldn't be disappointed. Everything is phenomenal. Summer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you, Ultra Player, with the lowercase.
With the all lowercase. I told them I was like, Ultra Player, all lowercase. Show the respect.
Oh my god, yes.
Alright, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here today on the Grandmaster's Table. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your night, and above all else, be nice. Peace.